The New Recruit, by Andy McNab, read by Jack Hawkins. Army Foundation College, Harrogate. Just do it, come on, it's a piece of piss. Liam's own words burned. Another figure, shaking his head, refusing to budge, ignoring him. So you're chicken then? Is that it? Liam bent his arms and flapped them like wings. Not listening. Dan's voice was firm as he backed away from Liam, but in the wrong direction, towards the edge of the building where they were free-running. Dan, stop, the gap! Liam's stomach turned over as he realised the danger. A laugh. You expect that to work too? Sort yourself out, Liam. Known you too long, mate. Liam shouted again, but still Dan backed away, each step taking him closer and closer to the drop. A scream ripped itself out of Liam's throat. Sitting up for a moment, all he could see was darkness. He was drenched in sweat and his breaths were hard and fast, his heart thumping as though it wanted to burst out of his chest. Movement. Something was at the end of his bed, and the night bent round it as though afraid. Liam had once felt the same, but not any more. Not now. If time hadn't healed him, a life change had. Hey, Liam. The voice froze the air. Liam's heart was racing now, but it was more due to adrenaline than fear. A shadowy figure leaned forward, slowly, deliberately, as though to do so any faster would cause it to topple, collapse, crumble. Its face was a mess of blood and bone, the features barely recognisable. One eye gone, the other wide and staring, unblinking. Liam breathed deep, squeezed his eyes tight shut, balled the heels of his palms into them till he saw stars, sensed tears slip out to run down his face. Come on, Liam, sort your bloody head out. It's not there, not real. If you can't handle this, then you're going to be no use as a proper soldier. The shadow was gone. Lying slowly back in his bed, forcing his breath to slow down, Liam focused on the other sounds in the room. The faint tick of a watch, a bubble of water doing its best to push through a weary heating system, and the deep sleep breathing of other exhausted young soldiers in the same room. As he tried to drift back to sleep, he thought of his last days at home, down in London. His mum was in the kitchen, creeping about timidly to make his dad a lunch he wouldn't even eat. His dad, barely sober from the night before, and even in the morning already halfway through another can of special brew, was signing the papers for him to enrol at the Army Foundation College in Harrogate. So if I sign this, it means you're out of the house for good, right? About fucking time, if you ask me. Just sign it, Dad. And what if I don't? For once, don't be an arsehole, and I'll only be home on leave, that's it. You know there's a war on, right? Anything's better than here, Dad. And that was it. Job done. Rolling over onto his side, Liam did his best to ignore the pain in his muscles. They hadn't stopped aching from the day he'd arrived. He checked his watch. With little more than a couple of hours left, he forced his eyes shut. Chapter 1. This place is a shit tip! And with that, Corporal Mackenzie, a man who made up for being short by being wide and loud and angry, smashed his boot into the bin. It clattered across the floor of the room Liam shared with 11 other junior soldiers and slammed into the radiator under the window. The sound was deafening. The corporal came up close enough for Liam to smell his breath, and it wasn't minty fresh. His skin was marked, like he'd spent his childhood picking spots off his face to squeeze out the pus, and the snarl etched into his features, like marks carved into rock, was one worn from pure displeasure. Do I need to check your locker, Scott, or shall I just guess that it's a complete bag of bollocks like usual? Liam was used to being called by his surname. They all were. It's what they were supposed to call each other when in training or on any exercise. First names didn't count then, mostly because if an officer called out Dave, there was a good chance he'd get at least half a dozen yes sirs. That was just annoying. If it happened on the battlefield, it would be downright dangerous. The corporal edged past Liam, who then heard his locker door open and his kit, which he'd yet again spent ages trying to get just right, heaved out across the floor. His heart sank, but he didn't show it. Corporal
Sample complete. Ready to continue?